So week number 13, to continue with chapter 7.3, the simplex method. And there are many methods in simplex. We use only maximization case to find maximum value of the objective function. So initially we will write the simplex method, linear programming problem in matrix form. Then we will go ahead with this one. So find this. This is the general form of linear programming problem. There is an objective function, and you remember simplex method can be used those problems that has more than two variables. But in graph method, we can use only two variable problems, right? So even though there are three or more variables possible, for simple cases we will consider only two variable problems, right? Okay, these are the inequalities. There are m inequalities. This is a11, a12, first row, a21, a22, a2n. This should have been 31, 32, 3n. Therefore, m1, m2 to mn. The matrix will be a matrix of m by n when you collect all the coefficients. Isn't it? And right hand side will be another matrix B. So this is nothing but a x is equal to b. X is the collection of all variables x1, x2, xn. And when you connect the c1, c2, c3 as your row column, c1, c2, cn, and x1, x2 up to xn as a column vector. This is row vector, the column vector. When you multiply these two, you'll get a single element of this one. So everything now is looking like c times x, and this is ax is equal to b, and x is greater than or equal to 0, the last condition, non-negative. Isn't it? So when we write in this form, this is called a matrix form of linear programming problems. So that's what given here. So linear program C is the coefficient matrix of the objective function. X is a variable vector. Now we can write z is equal to c times x, and you will collect this as a body matrix A, and the right hand side matrix B as a column vector. Then this is the matrix form of the simplex matrix form of the linear programming problem, right? And simplex method has been explained here. I explain by using an example. Okay, you can go through if you have any doubts through the procedure, but let me take an example and start. We will discuss the procedure of simplex method along with this problem. Okay, I will solve it on an external sheet. We are going to solve this problem using simplex method now. Let's start the solution. Step number 1. There are some steps I note down. First step, what we do, we are going to write is that maximize a standard form of linear programming problem. So maximize is equal to x1 plus 2x2, and the subject to the conditions. Subject, I'm not repeating the same problem, I'm making some changes here. You see, I want equalities here. I don't want inequalities, I want equalities. So what to do when 5 is less than 7? How to make them equal? When there is an inequality, 5 is lesser than 7, how to make them equal? Add something to the left hand side. 5 plus x will make it equal to 7. And further we can solve and find what is x. That's not our purpose. How to make an inequality into equality? When it is lesser than inequality, add something to the left hand side so that both the sides will be equal, isn't it? So to do so, I'm introducing for every row, for every inequality, I'm using one new variable S1 and S2, so that the inequality will be converted into equality. You see, in graphical method, we have assumed inequality into equality to draw the lines, but here no assumption. We are converting every constraint, every inequality into equality by using some dummy variables. These variables have different names. We call it, initially this is called basic variables, and they have different name called slack variables, or you can call it dummy variables, right? So all the names are true for S1, S2. Initial basic solution, this is right, basic solution, and this is slack variable. When you add to compensate the slackness, you call it a slack variable. And dummy variable, they have no big role in this calculation, right? Okay, fine. Subject to first condition. First condition 2x1 plus x2 and S1 for first inequality makes this inequality equality. Second inequality 2x1 plus 3x2 plus S2 for second inequality, that will make it equal to 12. Okay, now instead of two variables, we have totally four variables. We can write x1, x2, s1, s2, all must be greater than or equal to 0. That's the condition. If there is negative for s1, s2, we ignore the values. Okay, fine. Then what happens in maximize case? There should be four variables. Introduce them here: 0 s1 plus 0 s2, because s1, s2 should appear in the maximize case as well, objective function as well. There will be four variables. So 1 time x1, 2 times x2, other variables are 0 times s1, 0 times s2. This completes our first step. Okay, this is the first step. First we will write, in the first step we will introduce two new variables and write every inequality into equality, and introduce those variables in the objective function with the 0 coefficient. Okay, now second step number 2. So remember, step by step, if you practice, it will be easier. Otherwise, you will forget the procedure. Then step number 2, I am writing simplex table 1. This procedure will be repeating. So you should be from simplex table 1 onwards, it will repeat. So we need to collect all information on the table. The table consists of some information called B, basic variable, and R, the right hand side. We know what is basic variable: S1, S2, newly introduced variable. R, right hand side values, and then the names of the variables, that is x1, x2, s1, s2, and finally the table ends with the ratio column. So these are the column titles of the new table. What are they? How do you start with? First, B stands for basic variable. R stands for right hand side. What do you mean by right hand side? This resources, in other words, this 8 and 12 are called right hand side or resources, whatever it is, isn't it? So in general it is R. And so you understand what will be in the column, what information can be filled on the column, isn't it? So these are the column titles. This will be common for all simplex tables. This B, R, X1. So if there are three variables here, X1, X2, X3, and there are three inequalities, you will find three S1, S2, S3 as well. So there will be 6 variable column: X1, X2, X3, S1, S2, S3. Depending upon the number of variables, this number of columns, these columns will change from here to here. Change in number of columns will change depending upon the number of rows and number of variables. Okay, for every row we will use a new S. So if there are 4 rows, 4 S will be there. If for every variable there is a column here, so if there are more variables, there will be more column here. Okay, that is it. Now just fill these information coefficients. x1 column, and b, what is b? B is basic variable. S1, S2. We have seen b is basic variable. Here it's given basic variable S1 and S2, new introductory variables. Here write down initially S1, S2 are basic variables, and this character will change when you go to second rotation, third rotation. Basic variables will be different, but initially it will be basic variables, right? And right hand side, what will be right hand side? This two information, 8 and 12. 8 here, 12 here. Okay, done. Now come down. Collect the information. X1 column will have the coefficients of x 2, 2, 2, 2. And you remember third after basic variable, this major part of this matrix ends, and here you will use objective function z. Objective function z in the under the column R, there is no z value 0. But for x1, what is z x1 on z value? The coefficient of x1 x2, but here we should write differently. I will come to that later on. X2 column, come to the x2 column. What are the elements in the x2 column? 1 and 3. x2 is 1 and 3. S1 appears only in the first equality. There is no S1 in the second row. So this is 1, 0. This is 1 and this is 0. For similarly, second S2 will be looking like there is no S2 in the first row. So it's 0. S2 in the second row. So 0, 1. It will be looking like an identity matrix. This part is looking like an identity matrix, isn't it? So if there are many three S values, then there will be 3 by 3 identity matrix. Fine. Another important thing is filling the Z row, but with the opposite sign. With the opposite sign, that's the highlight. Fill this row with its opposite sign. So this is -1, -2, 0, 0. That's what we had to use here. X1 column, the Z in the Z function, objective function, it is the coefficient of x1 is 1. So we will write the opposite sign, -1. The coefficient of x2 was 2, and we will write -2. For zeros, no sign. That is it. Now this is called initial simplex table. Now we are going to do an important task here. What is it? What is it? Step 3 is going to be on this table. Step 3, finding entering and leaving variables. That is step 3. After writing simplest table in step 2, we are just collecting our information, filling the table, and then find entering and leaving variable. That's it. So I write the procedure here, and I will use it on this table. Okay, what to do? These Z's are called indicators. These values are called indicators. You will stop the procedure when all indicators are positive, 0, non-negative, 0 or more. Right? If there is a negative value, we cannot stop the procedure. It will continue to repeat. Okay. So first thing we need to do is to find entering variable. Choose most negative is a value in this row. Most negative is j. The corresponding variable will enter the basis. on the next table. This column is called, this column is called pivot column, key column, pivot column or key column, isn't it? Or leaving in another variable is leaving variable, sorry, entering variable column, entering variable column. So did you understand something here? Key column, pivot column, entering variable column, all are same, isn't it? What's going on here? Most negative j is a j. See, there are negative values here. Out of which number is called the most negative? See, I will give an introduction about most negative. If I give you -7, -8, -9, -10, the maximum value is -7 and the minimum value is -10. But what is most negative? The bigger number in negative, the number is most negative. This number with a, if you remove negative value, number 10 is bigger number. That is called the most negative. Okay, so most negative value is this one. We call it most negative. So I think this information is not necessary anymore. So if there are negative values, among the negative values, choose the most negative. Okay, so we are going to choose the most negative now. And among this z values, most negative value is this one. So this is our column, and this variable will join this club. This variable will join this club. That is why this variable is called entering variable. Where it is entering? It will enter here. So one of these variable will be kicked out. S1, S2. One of them has to move. See, title will not change. This title will be R x1, x2, s1, s2, R ratio will be same for entire problem, for this entire problem, right? Particular problem. But this basic variable will keep on changing for every simplest table. So in the next table, x2 should come in, and we should find a way for them. We should pull one of them outside this one, isn't it? Outside the base. So how to remove one variable from the basis so that x2 can enter? That's next. So this column is called basic, pivot column, or key column, or entering variable column. There are three different names. So simple, just choose the most negative number. If there is no negative here, the problem is at the end. We are concluding. So if there is a negative, if there is only one negative, choose that negative. If these two negatives are same, your choice is yours. If both are negative 2, you can choose any variable. Okay. If there is a -3, that is our most negative. So most negative variable column is called entering variable column, pivot column, or key column. That variable will enter this basis in the future table. Now time to find a ratio, this column. If this variable is available, then write the formula for ratio. Ratio is R column. I'm writing the formula for ratio. The column of R divided by now the entering variable x2. This case is x2. Condition, x2 should be greater than 0. The elements in the x2 column should be greater than 0. Then only you can divide. If they are negative or 0, you are not about to find the ratio. So in our x2 column, ignore z. Z is not in the calculation. Z is only for finding this. So this ratio will be found only for the rows, the main rows, main body rows, not for the z. So ignore this z. Z is not in the calculation of ratio. Ratio will not be calculated for this ratio, this row. Okay. What you got to do now? R is 8. R column is 8. X2 column is here. A term by term division. So 8 over 1. 8 over 1 is 8. Next, 12 over 2. 12 over 2 is 6. So among this, minimum value will be chosen. And that particular variable S2 will be politely asked to leave the place, get out of this area. X2 has to join. So this friend X2 will come and join here the next place, next table. This guy S2 will be asked to vacate the place immediately. Right? So this row is called a leaving variable. This row is called a leaving, similar to this one. There are three names here. Similar to the pivot column, key column, entry variable column. We have three different variable names for this row. Leaving variable row first, pivot row second, key row third. You got it? So I'm writing the procedure here. It may be helpful to you. I will upload this material. Find. So this is first part. First part is done here. First part. Second part here. Find ratio. Then choose minimum ratio, the corresponding variable will be leaving the basis in the next table, and this row is called pivot row, key row, or leading row. There are many ways. Or leaving variable row. So different names are there. That's it. Go back to the same table. The work is done on the same table, but calculations are explained in step number 3. Okay. What is going on? Our entering variable is x2, leaving variable is s2. And do you find there is an intersection? This is called a pivot column. This is called a pivot row. They are intersecting at this point. They are intersecting at this point. What is the intersection point? 3. Isn't it? 3 is the intersection of pivot row and pivot column. So we have a name for this term. This is our leading element for this matrix. And once you find leading element, the reduction method starts. Reduction method is not for the entire matrix, only for this column, only for this particular column. We will convert the leading element into 1 and the other column elements into 0. That's it. Then we will write the next table of symbols, check the Z values. Okay. So what's the next point? Leading element. Here, what is leading element? Leading element is 3. What is it? I don't want to write the definition again. The element, okay, better write. The element that lies at the intersection of pivot row and pivot column. So this leading element has different names as well. Pivot element, key element, you can call it key element, pivot element, key element, and leading element, right? So this leading element plays a crucial role in the next step. Our target is to make this pivot element into 1 and other column elements into 0 by using the reduction method. So reduction method starts now. Step number 4. Step number 4. We are here in step number 4. Reduction method. What to do with the reduction method? Just take this matrix. What is the matrix? What is the matrix we are going to consider? This matrix from 8 from 8 12 0 to 0 1 0. This element, there are 3 rows, 5 columns. All these elements will be our new matrix for reduction method, and reduction method will be applied only on this pivot column, right? So no other concern, but the formula is common for the reduction method. What is the table to reduce? 8 2 1 1 0. Second row, 12 2 3 0 1. Third row, the is row 0 negative 1 negative 2 0 0. This is the matrix on which the reduction method will be applied. Okay, what is the key element? Key element is this 3. So 3 should be converted into 1, other above and below element should be converted into 0. That is what we are going to do. So formula number 1, row 2 should be row 2 divided by 3. So no change in the first row. 8 2 1 1 0. Second row will be divided by 3. 12 over 3 4. 2 over 3 3 over 3 0 1 over 3. Next, no change in the third row. 0 negative 1 negative 2 0 0. That's it. Now write formulas for converting this element and this element to zeros. What's the formula? R1 is R1 minus R2, because the number is 1 here. Just subtract them. R3 is R3 minus, again a minus 2 is here, minus 2. Use R2. R2 is the row that will not be changed. So I'm writing the row first, R2, which has no change. 4 2 over 3 1 0 1 over 3. Now using formula 1, write the first row. You know this reduction method. 8 minus 4 is row 1 minus row 2. 8 minus 4 is 4. 2 minus 2 by 3. What is 2 minus 2 minus 2 by 3? 6 minus 2, 4 over 3. 1 minus 1, 0. 1 minus 0, 1. 0 minus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 3. Done. Third row, the reduction method. So this formula becomes R3 plus 2 times R2. Can I use this formula this side? R3. What is your R3 here? So I am writing the formula R3 plus 2 times R2. R3 is 0, negative 1, negative 2, 0, 0. Plus 2 times R2. R2 is here. 4, 2 over 3. 4, 2 over 3. 1, 0, 1 over 3. That will give you first 0, negative 1, negative 2, 0, 0. Multiply 2 inside. It's 8. 4 over 3, 2, 0, 2 over 3. Term by term addition will give you 8. Minus 1 plus 4, 3 will be minus 3 plus 4, 1 over 3. Minus 2 plus 2 will make it 0. 0 plus 0 will be 0. 0 plus 2 by 3 will be 2 by 3. This is our third row. So 8, 1 over 3, 0, 0, 2 over 3. Once the reduction is done for the particular column, see the particular column, the leading element became 1, above and below elements are 0. So this is going to be used in the next simplex table. That is our step number 5. Simplex table 2. Simplex table 2. We are going to fill these values in the simplex table as they are taken. First column is basic variables, second column is R, right hand side value, variables x1, x2, s1, s2, and ratio to be found if there is any. Okay, so these are our columns. These are our columns. They are okay, fine. Basic variables now, and there are two rows. After two row, we will write z row. We will write the z row by the third row will be z row. This third row is here. So this row is for z. Okay. And what are the basic variables? Go to the problem. Previous z table, simplest table. Previous simplest table is this one. Basic variables are s1 and s2, but s2 will be kicked out. x2 will come here. So s1 and x2, s1 and x2, right? That's it. The new simplest table we will write s1 x2. Now just fill this table. The first by using this matrix. First column is 4 4 4 4 8. Second column is 4 over 3 2 over 3 1 over 3. Third column is 0 1 0. Fourth column 1 0 0. The last column is negative 1 over 3 1 over 3 2 over 3. And if there is no negatives in the z row, then we are at the end. So we will write a conclusion here. These are called indicators. Write the conclusion. Since all indicators Zj are greater than 0, we have reached the conclusion. Otherwise it will repeat, gentlemen. If there is a negative, again I will take the most negative. I will call the column as a entering variable column, and it should enter somewhere. Someone has to leave. To find the leaving variable, again we will find ratio and take the minimum ratio, kick the variable out, isn't it? And then use this matrix. Further, we will find some leaving variable row, entering variable column, and there will be a key element. You will find a key element, and that key element should be converted into what reduction method starts again. If there is a negative here, if there is no negative, you are at the end. How to write the final answer? That is the question. How to write the final answer? The final answer will be taken from only the first two rows, first two columns. And you know, in our problem, we have only main variables x1 and x2. We don't bother what is s1, s2. S1 is dummy variable. We don't want. X2 is not available in the basis. So, sorry, x1 is not available. So x1 is 0. x2 is 4. This is the answer. Right hand side value. So the x2 is 4. Z is 8. So we got the answer from the table. We don't want s1 because s1 is dummy variable. Actually, we want x1. In our given problem, there is x1. But x1 is missing in the basis. Therefore, x1 value is 0, x2 value is 4, z is 8. Almost everything is in the first two columns. Basic variables, right hand side value, resources. Right? So, the end we will write z maximum is 8, which is given by x1 is 0 and x2 is 4. That's our solution. And you can use graphical method to check this answer if you want. Now go to the given problem and check by substitution of these values. X1 is 0, x2 is 4. Go to the given problem. This is it. Put x1 is 0, x2 is 2. 2 times x2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Z is 8. Z is the maximum value of that objective function, and the conditions are applied under the conditions, right? That's the end of this problem. I think you are understanding it. If not, one more problem will make you clear. Let's go to the syllabus problems and check what is the next one. Hello, do you have any question?
Yes, you do the matrix because there is a negative number, right?
Where is the negative number? Yes, negative number. Where is the negative number?
Go to the matrix, first matrix.
First matrix, fine. This
There is a
one, this row.
yes, we must remove the negative, right?
Why we remove the negative? We are not remove the negative. We are choosing this column because it is negative.
And
Is it
we
clear?
do the matrix
What?
down the step 4, I think. Down.
Yes. Here.
Yes, you like.
I have, so this column actually from the table, this column is our leaving entering column, this row is leaving variable. So this is our pivot element, isn't it? So
Yes.
we converted this element into 1 and its above below elements into 0 by using reduction method. Clear?
Yes. Clear.
Okay, you watch the see the video should be repeatedly watched twice or thrice and take a different example from the textbook and work it out. Otherwise, you cannot master it. Okay, the technique is easy, but you should practice it to get it memorized. Okay, but this is very important problem. Very important. There will be one problem of this kind. Okay, simplex method is very important for you.
Okay. You will solve another one.
Yeah, we are solving another one. This one.
Okay.
This is problem number 3 from the textbook. Check it. But in our calculation, this is second problem. This is actually our second problem. From the textbook, it may be third problem. Check it out. Maximise. We are dealing with only maximization problems in our syllabus. No minimization for this simplest method. Minimization may be there in the graphical method. Okay. Step 1. Can you recall step 1? You remember there are two inequalities. So I am going to use two new variables. S1, S2. We call it basic variables or slack variables or dummy variables. Okay, doesn't matter. Initially they are basic. Initial basic variables, right? These two are initial basic variables. Okay, first step number 1 is called standard form. We have a name for every step. Standard form. What form we need is an using this one I am going to convert the inequalities into equalities. So maximize z minus x1 plus 2x2 minus x1 plus 2x2, and you remember what's my next step is to use these variables here, 0 times s1 plus 0 times s2 in the objective function. I am introducing with 0 coefficients subject to second row. Inequality will be converted into equality. 3x1 plus 2x2 plus first variable 1 time s1 is equal to 5. Second row minus x1 plus 3x2 plus secondary variable s2 is equal to 3. Now the last line is and x1, x2, s1, s2 all are non-negative variables assumed to be, right? Fine. Now first step is done. Second step, simplex table 1, simplex table 1, simplex table 1. Put these values in the table, okay? And you should remember the titles of the table. First B, next R, and how many variables are there here? X1, X2, S1, S2. That's it. And finally, ratio column. Ratio column is possible only when there is a negative in the Z column. So these are our columns, column titles. And we know B stands for basic variable. Immediately write S1, S2. R is the right hand sides are 5, 3. And this values should be used in the table. X1 is 3 and negative 1, 3 and negative 1. X2 column 2, 3. S1 column, there is one S1 in the first row, but no X1 in the second row. There is 0, 1. S2 is missing in the first row, it is 0. Second row, it is 1. So it will be looking like an identity matrix, right? Now it's time to write the third row. Third row should have a separation from the first two rows because it's not in the calculations of ratio. This is for Z. The Z coefficients, but in the opposite sign. The coefficient from objective function with opposite sign, right? Go there. This is -1, +2. So opposite sign should be written there. What is the opposite sign? +1, -2. The remaining, I'm sorry, I missed it. Under x1 it is +1. Under x2 it is -2. Under R it is always 0 till the last step. This is beginning with a 0. This step will beginning with 0 here. Under R Z value will be 0. Under x1 go to the x1 of Z. This is Z minus x1, write opposite sign positive x1. This is positive 2x2, write the opposite sign -2. And s1 s2 coefficients are zeros, right? That's done for step 2. Step 3, what is called entering variable and leaving variable. Entering and so which there is only one negative, so no choice, only one negative available, so that is our entering variable. So this fellow should enter this basis somewhere. Someone has to move now. How to find them? Find ratio formula is, the formula for ratio is r over the same r over x2. If the entering variable is x1, we will write the formula r over x1. Okay, if the entering variable is s1, I will write the formula r over s1. So variable, this will change condition, all x2 elements should be greater than 0. So here do not include the last one. These two are positive, so you can find 5 over 2. 5 is r, x2 is 2. 5 over 2 is 2.5. 3 over 3 is 1. Minimum value is this one. Minimum value. And the corresponding variable, this fellow should be vacating this place, so that this guy x2 joins here. This guy x2 joins here, right? In the next table. So this is done, everything is done here. So I am writing the result here. Entering variable, who is entering variable? Entering variable is x2, leaving variable is s2. And what is the pivot element? What is the key element? These two will give you the element at the intersection. This is the column, key column. This is key row. This element is key element, intersecting point. Pivot element. Pivot element is 3. This is our leading element, and next reduction method starts. Step number 4. Reduction method only for this particular column of x2, isn't it? So let me write the table now. The matrix 5, 3, 0, 3, negative 1, 1, 2, 3, negative 2, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. Go back and check the matrix. This matrix 5, 3, 0, 3, minus 1, minus 1, 2, 3, negative 2, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. That's been given here. And remember, you are targeting this element. You make this element into 1, this element into zeros, right? Only for the entering variable column. Write the formula. Formula for row 2 is row 2 divided by 3. What happens in row 2? No change in the first row. 5, 3, 2, 1, 0. Second row divided by 3. 1, negative 1 over 3. 1, 0, 1 over 3. Third row, no change. 0, 1, negative 2, 0, 0. Okay, it's done now. These two elements should be converted into 0. Use the formula. You know how to write formulas. R1 is R1 minus 2. The element in the R1 is 2. 2 times R2. R2 is the row that will have no change. R3 will be R3 minus, and there is a minus 2 here, minus 2 times R2. Is that sounds good? So no change in the second row. 1, negative 1 over 3, 1, 0, 1 over 3. Use this formula, R1 minus 2 times R2. 5 minus 2 times, here it is 3. 3 times 3 minus 2 times 1 by 3. 9 minus 2. Is that all? R1 minus 2 times, so there is a minus 1 by 3. So this is plus. 9 plus 2, that is 11 over 3. 2 minus 2, it will be 0. 1 minus 0, 2 times 0 will be 0. So 1, 0 minus 2 times 1 by 3. 2 times 1 by 3 will be minus 2 by 3. So I have directly written, you can calculate by our method. First write this row, then minus 2 times this row, multiply minus 2 inside and subtract 10 by 10. Third row. This formula is nothing but R3 plus 2 times R2. Where is R3? R3 is here, plus 2 times 1. 2. 1 plus 2 times minus 2 by 3. 1 minus 2 by 3 is 1 by 3. Minus 2 plus 2 times 1 will be 0. 0 plus 0. 0 plus 2 times 1 by 3 is 2 by 3. That's it. We got this row. Once reduction is done. This element will become 1 and other above and below elements become 0. This is done for this column. And now fill this matrix in the next simplest table. That is our step number. This is step number 4. For step number 5. And you notice here in the last row, no negatives. That is our Z row. So step number 5. Simplest method, simplest table 2. Simplest table 2. Simplest table 2, right? Fill this. First, titles of the table. B, R, variables are x1, x2, s1, s2, and ratio. So B is the first column, R is second column, x1, x2, s1, s2. Ratio will be calculated if necessary. Otherwise, ignore the ratio. and Z will be in the last. This is for Z, but we will check, go back to the origin first table and decide the basic variables. Go back. Basic variable S1 has no problem, S1 will remain, but S2 will be kicked out and X2 will join here, isn't it? So S1 and X2. This will be S1 and X2. Now this remaining part should be filled by using this matrix. Just write the matrix here. 3, 1, 2. 11 over 3, negative 1 over 3, 1 over 3. 0, 1, 0. 1, 0, 0. Negative 2 over 3, 1 over 3, 2 over 3. Etc. We filled it. And now, okay. What to do? Check the indicators. These are the indicators, not under R, from X2 onwards. These are called indicators. Not this one. This is under R. Under R, it will give the value of Z at the end. So there is no negative to start with. If there is a negative, we can choose the negative to find the entering variable. So conclusion. So we have to write the conclusion here. Since all indicators are indicators have notation. Indicators ZJ are positive, non-negative. We have reached the conclusion. What is the answer? How do you get the answer? Answer will be taken. Conclusion will be taken from the first two columns, isn't it? First two columns. S1 is 3. We don't bother what is S1. We want X1. Is there any X1? No, 0. We want X2. X2 is available is 1. So Z value is 2. That's it. Z value is 2. That is it. So we will write the conclusion here. Z max is 2, which is given by X1 is 0 and X2 is 1. This is our conclusion. Maximum. So go to the original function and check. Go to the original objective function. Check. X1 is 0, X2 is 1. X2 is 1 gives you Z is 2. So the answer is right. That's the end of this problem. And what's next? I'll give you a practice problem here itself. Practice some tougher problem, then only you can practice. You will be masterable. Third, I will give a practice problem, and another practice problem is on there in the PowerPoint. You can go through. I'll give you a practice problem now. Maximize by simplex method. Maximize Z is equal to 8x1 plus 2x2, subject to the conditions x1 minus x2 less than or equal to 1, x1 plus 2x2 less than or equal to 8, x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 5. x1 comma x2 greater than or equal to 0. This is first problem. Here again I will give one more problem to practice for practice a simplest method. I'll give a problem with 3 variables and try. Maximize z is equal to 2x1 minus x2 plus x3 subject to the condition 2x1 plus x2 minus x3 less than or equal to 4. x1 plus x2 plus x3 less than or equal to 2 and x1 comma x2 comma x3 greater than or equal to 0. The solution for this problem is the answer for this problem is z maximum is 4, x1 is 2, x2 and x3 are zeros. For the third problem, the answer is z is equal to 28, z max, x1 is 3, x2 is 2. Check your answers, right? That's it. Thank you very much. And there are some other practice problems in your PowerPoint. This is also a practice problem, a third problem. Okay, practice this one, and thank you very much. The next class we will start probably. Yes.
Go back to the answer of question 2.
Yeah, I'm coming.
What's it?
I'm coming. Wait.